folks, members of the VC in the music community. So, I'm completely adorned with my members only shirt from the Port City fellas. I spent a good couple hours up there today with my good friend Evan Hovey, and working on details, working on things for our podcast that'll be coming relatively soon. I'm hoping sooner than later. It's going to really depend on microphones and all that stuff. So, this is called Metal Tag 2021. So, in the vinyl community, in the music community, everybody knows that there's a vinyl tag, and you basically ask a bunch of questions, and so on and so forth. Now, this is a metal tag done by Mr. Scott McNiven, also known as the Rock Scout on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to his channel, I suggest you do so, as well as mine and as well as other people in the VCs. Record collections abound. It's good stuff. This video is going to get some people fired up. It's going to be some discussion. I love it. So, there's 20 questions for this metal tag. I've answered them to the best of my ability, and we're going to do some stuff. Some things in here, I will forewarn you now, folks, some things in here I do not have records for, and I will explain why. Question number 1, music spoiled by vocals. And right off the bat, I can't show you a record because I don't own anything by them, because it's Dream Theater. I hate James LaBrie with the utmost and unbridled of passions. Why? Because I think he's a prima donna, cock of the walk guy that's all, look at me, look at me, look at me. Every picture I see, he's always got the mic over his ear here, and he's all, chest is all out and stuff, and he's in the midst of singing one of his glorious songs. I think he's probably the worst singer in heavy metal. Absolutely despise the man. Will never own a Dream Theater record, period. And you can chastise me in the comments. Please feel free to do so, but guess what? You'll never change my mind, and you'll never convince me ever to buy a record. Thank you. An album you love, but you're let down by the production. Well, that's very simple. Now, granted, and I've got a bunch of my vinyl here, so if you see me kind of just doing this, it's just I'm going through it to make sure I have what I have. That's this record. Creator, Out of the Dark and Into the Light. This is very simple. This was literally like a simple little 2-song EP. Actually, 3-song EP with a couple live tracks here. And the thing about this is that while probably the best part about this is the album cover, and in Impossible to Cure, Lambs to the Slaughter. It's a great record. Unfortunately, now granted, yes, this was done in 1988. Some of the tracks were done in Studio Berlin, and the others were mixed at the Music Lab Berlin. Production-wise, it's not that great. The songs are great. The production's not that great. That's really all that it is. I do love the record. Unfortunately, I just don't like the production on it, and that's and that's allowed. That's kind of a thing. So, as I go through the vinyl, I'm going to put it back in here. A band that suffers from a weak member. Are you ready? Get your fingers going, because it's coming. You're not going to like it, and I don't care. So, Metal Mickey, or Mike Allen as his real name, right here, Lars Ulrich. And you can sit here and you can fight and argue and waffle on like a bunch of twats. I don't have Hardwired to Self-Destruct. Gone. That's the record I would have picked, but this is one of my favorite records by the band. Really haven't listened to this or any of the other 3 or 4 that I have. I just haven't, because I'm just tired of them. As you get on in age, he starts taking over. Actually, he pretty much took over Master of Puppets when Cliff died. And yeah, I've got. Sorry, guys. James is fine. Kirk is fine, even though he loses his phone and loses many riffs from the phone. Robert Trujillo, he's literally there to take over from Jason. Lars has not been a great drummer for over 25 years now. And you guys can sit there and say, well, he's playing in Metallica. He's playing in one of the best thrash bands. Metallica hasn't been a thrash band since this record. Okay? And if we're all going to sit here and give me grief over he's a better drummer out of every other drummer in the thrash scene, you're full of shit. Go listen to Exodus, Blood In, Blood Out, and focus on Tom Hunting. That is the most underrated drummer in thrash metal. He is, as far as I'm concerned, one of the best thrash drummers. Fight me, I don't fucking care. End of list. Now, moving on. Show an album that to you defines heavy. Out of everything in this, out of everything I have here, the one that I've chosen is right here, and that's Suffocation, Souls to Deny. It's heavy. And the only reason why this is it is because I don't own Effigy of the Forgotten. If I owned Effigy of the Forgotten on vinyl, or CD or cassette for that matter, it would have been picked, because that is disgusting. This is just as disgusting. Okay. A record introduced to you by the music community, vinyl community, VCMC. Savatage. I love Savatage. I've listened to a couple records. I am going to be going and getting into other records. I don't have anything by him, so that's a bit of a travesty. I just have to go and find them. I'm not going to find anything in my locals around here. I've already looked. I looked at Riff Raff yesterday. I looked at Second Spin yesterday. Nothing. And I know for a fact Sunrise won't have a friggin' thing by Savatage. That's fine. I'll go online and find some. It's going to take time. Number 6. Show an album that takes your taste in a different direction. Now, this isn't too different, but over the last few years, I've been really focused on way more metal than I have been any other time. Like, because sometimes I'll go and I'll listen to like a bunch of different things and then focus on metal, listen to a bunch of different things and focus on metal. Right here. Pink Floyd's A Momentary Lapse of Reason. I absolutely love the first track off of this, Learning to Fly. Signs of Life into Learning to Fly. Learning to Fly is without a doubt probably my all-time favorite Pink Floyd songs. It just starts off with a and then it just comes in with some really, really nice melodic guitar in there. Just great lead lines. And then it's very well mixed too. It's just a phenomenal record. The whole entire thing, Dogs of War, just every part of that record is just beautiful. And I haven't actually listened to it a little bit, but I do listen to Learning to Fly every so often just to, makes me happy. Okay. Had a gem in your collection. I'm going to go with a band that's actually featured in here 2 more times. Because it's literally the answer to the next question. So question 7 is had a gem in my collection, and question number 8, band in your collection that formed close to where you live. So these guys literally formed an hour away from me, an hour and a half. And they are local band, independent, but they are also signed to PRC Music. Now, I think I heard rumblings that they were shutting down. I could be wrong. And that's this record. Discord, Corruption of Innocence. So right here is a priest. I know it's very hard to see that. There we go. That's a little bit better. It's like an evil looking priest kind of thing. And you can see all the children. See? all of the evil. Now, this here is probably, and of course, there's the band on the inside there. Now, this fella here is not in the band anymore. They have another guitar player. There's Luke Gagne. He is the guitar player singer. That is Marc Andre, who is the drummer, obviously, as you can tell. But we all know him as Goldfish. And this is the man of the hour, Alex Cormier, who I call Alex Webster Jr. or Webby Jr. When I get into these guys, they have this very old school, filthy, dirty thrash, like sort of European thrash, but there's also way more death influence, as in Chuck Schuldinger's Death. So if you really want to dig into a record, these are the guys that do it. So yeah, and literally from top to bottom, Beware the Rage of a Desperate Man, Order of the Assassins, The Jackal, Camp Blood, Schizophrenic Disembodiment, Holodomor, Le Grand Noirceur, and Corruption of Innocence. Order of the Assassins and Corruption are pretty much the two top tracks on here for me. They just absolutely smoke, and I could listen to them all day, every day. Oh, excuse me. An album you reach for when you want melody. Now, a lot of people will be like, oh, well, you're going to, you want to listen to something like really soft and smooth, kind of like, maybe a momentary lapse of reason. But I still want heavy. I still want driving guitars. That record for me is going to be In Flames Battles. This was actually released in 2016. It's a phenomenal record. A lot of people don't like this record because they say Anders' vocals are too whiny. While you're not wrong in that statement, the thing is, there's a lot of hard driving guitars, heavy guitars, but there's also a lot of melody in there, and there's enough melody in there to offset the guitars. So it really makes everything sound almost as perfect for what you're looking for. Okay. Album in your collection you would sell first. Well, I've been trying to offload this CD now for quite a while, and I can't for some reason. I don't know what the deal is. I think it's just because nobody really wants it. And that's a band from Japan. This came out in 2007 on the End Records. This is called Psy, Hangman's Hymn. This is what you would classify as Japanese blackened thrash with a little bit of death in there, but more or less it's going to be it's more blackened thrash than anything. I really only got this because I watched Global Metal, and their track Me Devil was in there. It's good, but the rest of the record is like, it's okay. So, maybe if someone's into that kind of thing, maybe I'll send it to them. You never know. Okay. Here's another question that's going to really button up people's ire. What subgenre of metal would you delete from existence? Power metal. Now, I know. Everybody's been like, well, you're a Judas Priest fan. You can't really say that because, they basically invented power metal. Here's the thing. A lot of the bands in power metal, I can't do. I can't listen to it. It friggin' drives me batshit insane. And you can call Iron Maiden a power metal band. I will, and Judas Priest. I will basically tell you to your face, you are a bull-faced liar. You do not know the genres of metal. Both of those bands, Judas Priest and Iron Maiden, are in the new wave of British heavy metal. Bands like Blind Guardian, Halloween, all of them power metal bands, absolute gone. It's just, I'm sorry, guys. It's just dreadful. I know you guys all love it, and that's fine. I'm not saying you can't love it. I'm just saying that I would not want it, and I would delete it from existence. I can sit here and go on and on about this all night, but I don't really feel like doing it, and this video would be 4 hours long. I don't want to. Okay, band or artist you would like to see do a reissue in 2020 or in 2021. Now, I'm going with Entombed Clandestine. Now, the only reason why I say Entombed Clandestine, because if what I saw was true, Earache has actually set up a re-release on blue vinyl of Left Hand Path. If that's the case, that means I won't have to worry about ever wanting it. Left Hand Path to me was a record that just slaughtered everybody. It's so heavy, if you dropped it, it would sink into the earth. And I just quoted one of the boys from work. It's just disgustingly heavy. And why not add Clandestine to that? If Clandestine is getting if they're going to get the reissue in 2021, perfect. Which 80s metal act would you like to see a comeback from? Well, a lot of them are already coming out, so what am I worried about? But the band I would pretty much go with is Razor. I do believe they are actually bringing out a brand new record in 2021. I know they just re-released through Relapse Records Armed and Dangerous, which is like the first bit of music that they ever released. So I'm hoping that with that release they actually get some new songs. Okay, show an alternative variation of an album cover. And this is the best that I could come up with in my collection, because the only other thing that I would have tried to come up with was the Tomb of the Mutilated by Cannibal Corpse, because it had the cover that everybody knows, the zombie eating out the other zombie. And then there was another one where there was sort of like this kind of darkened zombie kind of looking like it's in hell. But this is the best thing I could come up with. It's In Flames, soundtrack to Your Escape. So this is your main jacket. And then as I slide it through here, it's pretty much the same thing. But of course, you don't have these sort of, as you can kind of tell here, it's kind of raised up. And of course, you can also flip it open and you'll see the rest of the band. And this is like a separate CD kind of thing. But yeah, this is... Actually, yeah, this here's a bonus disc. And it's got some good stuff on there. So yeah, there's the actual album cover. And this is the outer cover. That's the best I can do, Scott. Like, if you're watching this, bud, kind of correct me if I'm wrong. Give me some shit. I don't care. Like I said, I'm doing this as the best of my ability. Okay, so... Now, this band and this record gets to go twice. So there's 2 records in this whole thing that basically go twice. So question number 15 is a band that defines metal overall. And number 16, show your most metallic album cover. Painkiller. Look at it. There's more metal in this than you can shake a stick. You know, the Angel, the bike, the 2 great big saw blades, all the steel down there. You can see everything all there riding and molten, and then the priest like sort of electric staff. The logo is in steel. The Painkiller is kind of almost in rock, like stone kind of thing. On the back, you have Painkiller riding again. If somebody was to ask me, what is heavy metal? Right here. That's heavy. That's metal. That's metal. As soon as they put this on and they hear Painkiller, they're going to be like, oh, wow, okay. And then it's just going to snowball from there. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Okay? Like none. We're not going to sit here and argue this all night. Let me tell you that. Here's where we get even more controversial. Okay, so... Okay, hopefully you guys didn't see that, but... An album you hated at first, but then you highly regard. I hated this because it wasn't Bruce. Okay? I absolutely hated this because it wasn't Bruce. But after listening to it, this really, really, really sits well with me. The only song on here that I really haven't got that much or gotten too deep into, I take my hat off because it's been on my head all day and I just want to let my scalp breathe a little bit. Of course, I still got my shirt here. Strange World. This is just an absolute stunner of a record right from the get-go. Absolutely love it. And of course, Clive Burr, Dave Murray, Dennis Stratton, Stevie Harris, and Paul Di'Anno, Dave Murray. Like, this is just a stunner of a record. Like, I would put this in oh Lord, somewhere Caught Somewhere in Time. I would play that. I would play those records all day, every day. Now, here's where we get a little bit miffy. And some guys out there actually might agree with me. You know what I mean? Like, some dudes would actually agree. Oh, and by the way, I also have this, but that's a killer record. So, yeah, I'm not going to bother. That's not going to get added to this. Not at all. See? It's part of my box set. Okay, so now, number 18 is basically an album you love, now you hate. I don't hate this record. But honestly, I couldn't care less to hear it again. Number of the Beast. I haven't even opened it for that reason. Killers I haven't opened because I just haven't gotten around to it. Number of the Beast. I mean, Hallowed Be Thy Name, Ride of the Hills, and Number of the Beast. Outside of that, I mean, 22 Acacia Avenue's okay. But, yeah, like, I mean, I understand the fan. Hang on a sec there, guys. Just going to put that back. I understand the fanfare. I understand the fact that people will say that's their best record. No, it's not. Debut is, as far as I'm concerned, that and Somewhere in Time. You know, now when we get right down to the last two questions, a metal band that deserves more attention and love, I'm going right back to these guys, and that's Dischord. Dischord absolutely is a fucking phenomenal band. My favorite band out of the Maritimes, bar none. There's only one other band that really tops the cheese for me. Now that doesn't mean that the other bands are bad. That there are other bands I love, but between these guys and Heroes Last Right are the two bands that I absolutely love the most. Dischord's, both bands are top. Dischord, I've gotten along with them guys for as long as I can remember. As far as I'm concerned, like, they represent every part of the death thrash genre. You just can't beat these guys for what they do on record, live. They're just beautiful people to hang out with. I've hung out with them individually, and it's been a great, great thing. Number 20, biggest grail going into 2021. That's easy. Entombed, Left Hand Path. What can I say? It's one of my most listened to records in my Apple Music library. I listen to it as often as I can. The title track, Left Hand Path, when you hear that, and then the bends, and then the driving Swedish death metal, and then LG Petrov comes in and just with that bark, that HM2, that Boss Heavy Metal 2 HM2 pedal comes, that tone comes in. It just literally, head's gone. Bye. You don't need your head no more. Just let it roll and let them songs just completely fucking annihilate your senses, because you don't need them anymore. If I can get that on CD, cassette, and vinyl, I will be happy. And pretty much, I hold, out of all the Swedish death metal records that I've ever heard, old school, any of it, like I love Dismember, I love all of those bands. Two records are Left Hand Path, and one of the other records I put in my Desert Island records is this guy and Left Hand Path. Left Hand Path didn't make it because I physically do not have it in my collection, but I did say that would be the other one that I would slide in there for sure. Folks, this has been the Metal Tag. I've been watching as many of the videos as I can. They've been awesome. You guys are awesome, and I hope you guys continue to support my channel. Subscribe if you haven't yet. I know there's a whole pile of people that watch these videos and they don't subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. All it's going to do is help me. And eventually, before too long, I'll be doing these, but to be more talking about records, talking about, you know, doing some reviews and doing some other little bits of stuff. But once I get once Evan and I get the podcast up and running, that's going to be kind of almost top cheese, because it's going to be him and I, and we're going to do all kinds of stuff. Thank you so very much for watching. You guys are killer. I love you all. Thank you so very much.